I solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And if I am found to be lying, I accept prosecution under the full extent of the sports law. Welcome to Sports in Order. I am the attorney at sports, and this is my courtroom. Hope everybody's having a nice day. Middle of July. It's almost August, almost September. Oh man, I think I talk about this every episode. I cannot wait until summer is over and football season is here. That is just the best time of year. I don't think anybody would disagree, you know. Yeah, everybody likes the summer, sit outside by the pool, go to the beach, you know, have off of work, go to the clubs, whatever it may be. But once September's here, you know, and all week, you know, leading up to Sunday, you set your fantasy lineup, you check, you know, you focus on your actual team that you're a fan of. And then Sunday comes, you watch your team play, you watch your fantasy players play. There's just nothing better than that, man. There's just nothing better than that. And I can't wait. It's almost here. Let's you know, keep our fingers crossed that your favorite team has a good season. But all I'm focused on is my fantasy team and my New York Giants, baby. Big blue, bleed blue, Giants pride. Let's get right to it. Again, if you guys can do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe to the World of Sports Network YouTube channel. That would help me out a lot. You know, we got some big things going on over there on the World of Sports Network YouTube channel. My show, Sports in Order. We have Baseheads. We got Trash Talk Radio, Guru's Film Room. We got a lot of good things coming. So just to go ahead and subscribe and do us all a favor. Appreciate that. Today on Sports in Order, I'm going to tell you the best strategy for your 2018 fantasy football draft, aka the attorney strategy. So if you follow my strategy and you're smart on the waiver wire, I think you'll have a good season. I think you'll have some success. Then I bring the Pittsburgh Steelers into the interrogation room in regards to Leveon Bell and the whole contract situation. And then, as usual, we end what's the case on the base with the attorney's players to add and fantasy baseball. You know, with that being said, you know the drill. We don't have any time to waste. Let's get right to it. All right, this is the attorney's draft strategy. Just follow this strategy when you do your draft, and I think you'll have a good season, man. It's not that hard. You know, drafting quality fantasy football team is really not that hard. Just follow this strategy, and you'll be okay. Don't deviate from the plan. Stick to the attorney's plan, and I promise you some success. All right, I'm gonna go round by round. I'm gonna go up to, I think it's the 10th round. Just telling you what to do in each round. All right, in round one, you should draft a running back. I think you should draft. Now, remember, this is my strategy and what I think you should do. So you can listen to other experts or whatnot, but the attorney knows what he's talking about, and you're obviously watching Sports in Order for a reason. So if you're watching Sports in Order, you should follow the attorney's strategy. So this is my strategy and what I would do and what I will do. Round one, I'm going to draft a running back. You know, this position is loaded with talented young players at the top. And I think you got to get at least one of them, if not two of them. Now, depending on the draft position that you have, you could probably get one of the top 6 running backs. So, if you can get one of the top 6 running backs, that's great. That's awesome. Now, the 6 running backs probably are, you know, Leveon Bell, in no order. This is probably really no order. It's the top 6. Leveon Bell, Gurley, Zeke, Kamara, Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, Melvin Gordon, you know, a couple others. Saquon Barkley. A lot of people say Saquon Barkley should be a first-round pick in fantasy. So, in essence, you want to get one of those running backs in the first round. But if you can't get one of them, there's only 2 receivers I would draft in the first round. Antonio Brown and Odell. Now, a lot of people say, what about DeAndre Hopkins? What about Julio? Well, now, Julio doesn't score enough touchdowns for me to be a first-round player. I can't pick a wide receiver that last year only scored 4 touchdowns in the first round. I just can't do that. And then DeAndre Hopkins, yes, DeAndre Hopkins had a great year last year, 13 touchdowns. But we've seen when Deshaun Watson, you know, coming off an elite season, he tends to fall back to earth a little bit. So, you know, like in 2016, he had an elite 2015 season. And in 2016, a lot of people picked him in the first round. He let a lot of owners down. So I want to see him again have a full year with Deshaun Watson before I, you know, think about picking him in the first round. So DeAndre Hopkins, no. I'm not going to pick him in the first round, but I'm going to pick, if I'm picking a receiver, I can't get one of the top running backs in the first round. I'm going to pick, if it comes to a receiver, either Antonio Brown or Odell. Yes, Odell coming off the injury. You know, a lot of people are concerned, but Odell, when he's healthy, no. He's a game changer, a freak athlete. Can take a 10-yard catch, 90 yards to the house. That's a first-round talent, if you ask me. So, In the first round, aim to get that running back, but if you can't and you want to draft a receiver, Antonio Brown or Odell Beckham Jr. Round 2, if you drafted a running back in the first round, don't be afraid to draft another one in round 2. That, having 2 running backs looks pretty good. Getting a Leveon Bell and then having a Leonard Fournette in round 2, that's pretty good. Leveon Bell and Leonard Fournette is your top 2 running backs. It looks pretty good. That's pretty attractive. So again, if you draft a running back in round 1, don't be afraid to draft a running back in round 2. Running backs are very valuable. If you drafted a wide receiver, though, in the first round, now is when you get your running back. I recommend that you don't draft 2 receivers in a row. I wouldn't draft a receiver in the first round and a receiver in the second round. I wouldn't do that. So if you drafted AB or Odell in the first round, round 2 is when you get your running back. In round 3, still focus on a running back or a wide receiver. Now, if you drafted 2 running backs in the first 2 rounds, this in round 3 is the round to get your wide receiver. Now, if you split the position in round 1 and round 2, say round 1 you got a running back, round 2 you got a wide receiver, and round 3 is when you take the best either running back or wide receiver available. Best runner or wide receiver available if you split the position in the first 2 rounds. But either way, round 3, running back or wide receiver. Don't get cute yet. Don't think about drafting a quarterback. No. We're not doing that. Round 3, we're still picking a running back or a wide receiver. It's that simple. Round 4, same drill. Running back or a wide receiver. Now, if the round before you drafted a wide receiver, this is the round to draft a running back. Again, I'm not a huge fan of, drafting 3 of the same positions in a row. I don't think you should do that. Now, after your first 4 picks, this is round 4. After round 4 comes and goes, you should have 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers. Not 3 running backs and a receiver. Not 3 receivers and a running back. Now, a lot of people in PPR leagues, they like to get that running back first and then draft 3 wide receivers in a row. Now, I don't necessarily think that's a bad idea. I'm just all about balance. I like the balance. I like 2 and 2. I like after 4 rounds, I like to have 2 running backs and then 2 wide receivers. I mean, it's okay. I'm not going to say not to have. If it's a PPR league, I'm not going to say to not draft 3 receivers in the first 4 rounds. But as long as you get that 1 elite running back, you can't have 3 wide receivers and an okay running back. That just doesn't make sense. So if you want to draft the 3 wide receivers, I would get that running back first. Draft the running back in the first round and make sure he's an elite running back. And then go ahead and get the receivers that can give you a lot of points in terms of, receptions and catches in a PPR league. Round 5, best player available. Now, this is the round where you usually see other positions coming off the board. Quarterbacks, tight ends. For me, no. Be smart. Just be smart. It's still only the 5th round. I still, in this round, a lot of people, this is where to pick a quarterback. I still wait on a quarterback. I still wait on a tight end. And I continue to stack up my skill position players, my running backs and wide receivers. Because those players, the receivers and running backs, come the 13th round, the 14th round, they're not going to be there. They're not going to be as valuable. So if I'm still in the 5th round, man, there's no need to get a quarterback or a tight end because there's still going to be a great receiver there, a great running back there. That's why I'm stacking up on the skill position players. I'm not worried about a quarterback or tight end yet. Nah, I'm good. And then, I'm sorry, I said round 5. That was round 5, round 5 through round 7. So from the 5th round, the 6th round, and the 7th round, that's when you still focus on the best player available. Quarterback or running backs, wide receivers. No quarterbacks, no tight ends. Round 5, round 6, round 7, you will see other positions come off the board. Don't get scared. Don't feel like, oh, my quarterback I wanted went off the board. Now I got to draft a quarterback. Or that elite tight end, Travis Kelce, he got picked. Now I got to get it. No. Don't. Remember, guys, I said this in the last episode. Stick to your draft plan. Stick to your draft plan. Don't let anybody else dictate how you draft. You have targets. You have a player you want. That's fine. But just remember, you can get that player in the round you think you can get him at. Don't front. Don't worry what position is coming off the board. Just stick to what I'm telling you to do. Round 5, round 6, round 7. Running backs, wide receivers. Best player available. Whichever running back is the best, whichever wide receiver is the best, at that point, that's the player you pick. Now, we're in round 8. This is where I plan to pick a tight end. Or an elite quarterback if one is on the board. Russell Wilson. Cam Newton. It's highly unlikely that they're still there in round 8, but if they are, I'm picking them. Now, in this round, I would be perfectly content. Now, remember, we're in round 8. It's the 8th round. I'd be perfectly content with a Greg Olsen or a Delaney Walker. So you don't need to draft a Rob Gronkowski in the 2nd round or a Travis Kelce in the 3rd round. You can get similar value in the 8th round with a Greg Olsen or a Delaney Walker, or maybe even I don't want to say Kyle Rudolph because he doesn't do much else but score touchdowns, but tight ends, most tight ends are touchdown dependent. So if you can get a Kyle Rudolph in the 8th round or even the 9th round who's going to give you damn near double-digit touchdowns, I don't see the need or the reason to take a Travis Kelce in the 3rd round. You see what I'm saying? And then the next round, the 9th round, unless another value pick is there, another value pick at the wide receiver or running back position, round 9 is when I'm looking for a quarterback. And I know I'm gonna get it. I know I'm gonna get great value in the 9th round with a quarterback, a Kirk Cousins, a Matthew Stafford, a Phillip Rivers, a Drew Brees, a Cam Newton, a Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah, all those names, they sound pretty attractive, right? They sound like pretty, oh, wow, you got a Ben Roethlisberger? You got a Cam Newton in the 9th round? That's pretty, yeah, exactly. That's why I continue to emphasize, wait on a quarterback. There's no need to reach on a quarterback. There's no need to take a quarterback until you get to the 8th or the 9th round. There's no need for it because you can still get a great quarterback in the 9th round. That's why you can't really get a great wide receiver or a great running back in this where we're at right now at this juncture in the 9th round. So you got to stack up on the skill position players and get the best value you can and get those players before this round comes, before you get into the later rounds. Because the later rounds, the great quarterbacks are still going to be there. The great skill position players are not going to be there anymore. So again, 9th round, I got a Cam Newton in the 9th round. I got a Ben Roethlisberger in the 9th round. Man, I'm great. I'm sitting pretty because I got all my skill position players. I got my tight end in the round before. I'm good. Now, rest of the draft, just stack up on best player available. Whoever it is. If it's another great tight end, get him. Another great quarterback, hey, you can have 2 quarterbacks, no problem. Back up one, whatever the better matchup is. But after you get your quarterback, in the usually 9th round for me, rest of the draft is the best player available. Skill positions, hopefully, and just keep stacking them. Because in a fantasy lineup, depth is key. You have to have great depth because your players are going to get injured. Players are going to have bye weeks. Players are going to have bad matchups. And a great fantasy GM checks the matchups. If a wide receiver, if your number 1 wide receiver is going up against an elite cornerback, a shutdown cornerback, but you have a wide receiver on your bench who's a good receiver and it's going up against a team that doesn't have a great cornerback play, there's the matchup right there. Put that cornerback in. That's why I say depth, draft depth. Don't just, you come into round 14 and you have 5 receivers already. So what? Depth is great. Draft another receiver. It don't matter. And actually, here's an interesting stat in terms of why you should wait on a quarterback. Last year, Russell Wilson was the number 1 ranked quarterback in fantasy football. Second, he scored 22 points per game. Russell Wilson scored 22 points per game last season, finishing as the number 1 quarterback in fantasy football. Dak Prescott, he was the 13th ranked quarterback and scored 17 points a game. Listen, Dak Prescott, 13th ranked quarterback, only scored 23% less than Russell Wilson, the number 1 ranked quarterback. The difference, 1 and 13, is a pretty big difference. But in terms of the points that they scored per game compared to the two, it's not that big of a difference. Dak only scored 23% less than Russ. So, again, wait on a quarterback. No need to draft Russell Wilson that high when you can get a Dak Prescott who put up similar numbers to Russell Wilson. Wait on a quarterback. And also, make sure you target offenses, not just players. Last year, the Patriots, the Saints, the Steelers, the Chargers, and the Chiefs. They were top 5. Those are the top 5 teams in total offense. The Rams, the Patriots, the Eagles, the Saints, and the Jaguars were top 5 in scoring. The top 5 teams in scoring. These 8 teams produced 7 quarterback ones. All those teams, their starting quarterbacks were quarterback ones besides Blake Bortles. Hey, that's not a surprise, right? Those teams produced 7 running back ones, 5 wide receiver ones, 3 wide receiver 2s, and the top 3 tight ends in fantasy football. So again, that's why, yes, it's nice to target specific players, but target players and target offenses and target players that come from those elite offenses. Don't just, you got to invest in the specific offenses, not just the specific players. Look at it like this. Only one person can get an Antonio Brown or an Alvin Kamara, but you can get a big Ben Roethlisberger or a Drew Brees. That way you have a player from that elite offense. Yeah, Alvin Kamara and Antonio Brown are the main beneficiaries from the Saints' elite offense and the Steelers' elite offense. But who throws Antonio Brown the ball? Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger. Who hands the ball off and throws the ball to Alvin Kamara? Drew Brees. So if you can't get the best player from that elite offense, make sure you get a good player from that offense. Make sure you get a contributing player from that offense. So again, look at offenses. Don't just look at players. Look at offenses. And when in doubt, Trust the offenses with elite quarterbacks. Because, not even elite quarterbacks, just good quarterbacks. Because the quarterbacks are the head of those offenses. And the quarterbacks are the ones that, get their teammates the points and the touchdowns. And what wins you fantasy football games? Points and touchdowns and yards. So, if you have an elite receiver, who's throwing him the ball? That quarterback. So, again, trust quarterbacks when it comes to, when it comes to looking for a specific offense to target and looking for players from that offense to target. Look at the offense with a good quarterback. Quarterbacks are the head of the elite offenses. Okay, there you go. There's my draft strategy. I mean, it's not rocket science, guys. It's pretty simple. But again, a lot of my fans that are watching Sports in Order have never played fantasy football before, or they're new at, they've only played for a year and they're just, amateurs still, and they're just trying to learn how to become better at fantasy football. Hey, you're watching the right show. Sports in Order is the show for you. Hopefully those tips I just gave you help you out and help you have a good fantasy football draft. You guys know Leveon Bell, right? Leveon Bell, he turned down a 5-year, $70 million deal from the Steelers. This deal would have paid him more than $30 million guaranteed the first two years. $14 million average. That would have been the average salary, $14 million. That would easily surpass the current holder of the highest paid running back in the game, which is Devontae Freeman, at $8.5 million. He might not be able to get that much better than that offer next summer. He's going to play this season on the franchise tag, which is $14.5 million. So, 5-year, $70 million deal. Turn that down. To play another year on the franchise tag. Next offseason, he'll be a free agent again. Do you think he can get a better deal than a 5-year, $70 million deal? I don't know, but hey, I'm the attorney, and I'm representing Leveon Bell. So, with that being said, Pittsburgh Steelers GM Kevin Colbert and the ownership, the Rooney family, step into the interrogation room, please. Thank you. How you guys doing? Everything okay? Cup of coffee, some water? You guys are okay? Good. Right. Listen, I'm calling you guys out. My client, Leveon Bell, he's upset. Hence why he refused and turned down that 5-year, $70 million contract. Listen, the franchise tag that Leveon Bell is going to play on is $14.5 million. And you offer my client an annual average salary of $14 million, less than the franchise tag. That's disrespectful, in my opinion. That's disrespectful. If anything, you should have offered him a contract which paid him more on an average annual salary than he would have made on the franchise tag. That's when my client said, you know what? There's no need for me to accept this deal when I can make more this year than I would make than I could make in the first year of that contract. Leveon Bell, my client, he loves football. Don't get it twisted. My client loves the game of football, but he's put in the work and he's earned the right to now get as much money as he can possibly get. And my client can get more than $14 million a year. My client can get more than $70 million over 5 years. My client isn't even 27 years old yet. My client will not be 27 years old until February. My client is a beast, the best running back in football. You know it, and I know it. My client wants $17 million a year. Is that too much, guys? You think it's too much? Okay. $17 million a year. When Sammy Watkins, Sammy Watkins? Yeah, Sammy Watkins makes $16 million a year. So you're going to tell me you were willing to pay my client Leveon Bell $14 million a year when Sammy Watkins, who's been one of the biggest busts in recent draft history, makes $16 million a year. Okay, now that's just disrespectful. That's just damn near disrespectful, if you ask me. But what do I know? I'm just the attorney, right? My client wants $17 million a year. My client wants a 5-year, $85 million deal. That's it. Now, again, running backs aren't valued as high. I get that. I get that. But you know why they're not valued as high. People say because running backs, once they hit 30, they hit a wall. Running backs over the age of 30 aren't productive. I get that. But you're still offering my client 5 years. So obviously that doesn't concern you. The age doesn't really concern you if you were willing to offer my client a 5-year deal. So I come to you with a simple proposal. Keep the 5 years. Nothing's changed. If you don't mind offering my client a 5-year deal, cool. I'm cool. We're cool with that. Keep it at a 5-year deal, but just add a little bit more money to it to make the average annual salary go up. Keep it at 5 years. Add $15 million to it. $85 million. The years are still the same. What's the issue? What's the issue? You don't see what? You don't value my client that highly? You don't think he's worth $15 more million? Okay. Antonio Brown, another great player for this organization, he makes $17 million a year. But my client, and I think you guys know this deep down, he's just as important to the Steelers as AB is, if not more important. Look at these stats, man. In 2014, Leveon Bell had 83 receptions, almost 1,000 yards receiving. He had 854 yards receiving. 2016, 75 receptions. And then last year, a career high, 85 receptions at the running back position. So you pay Antonio Brown, a receiver, $17 million per year. My client is a receiver and a running back. Why is he not valued as highly as Antonio Brown? We're not understanding this. We're concerned. Can you explain this to us, please? Last year, the 85 receptions were a career high. But he also had 1,300 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. Come on now. This is getting ridiculous now. You know it. You got to be smart here. You got to reason with us a little bit. My client Leveon, he's the Steelers' offense, not AB. No disrespect to AB. I like AB as a person. If he ever needed me to represent him, I would, no doubt. But ask any defensive coordinator, ask any defensive player who they fear more, who do they have to prepare for more, Antonio Brown or Leveon Bell? And the answer is easy. It's Leveon Bell because he can beat you in a multitude of different ways. Leveon Bell can catch the ball in the backfield. Leveon Bell could take it up the middle. Leveon Bell could take it on a toss. Look at last year in the AFC Championship game, or the AFC Divisional game against the Jaguars, when Leveon Bell caught a wheel route on a linebacker for a touchdown. He ran that route like a receiver. He's a matchup nightmare. Leveon Bell is a matchup nightmare. There's nobody that can cover him. You put him outside as a receiver against a cornerback or against a linebacker or a safety, no way. He's too quick. No way. They can't cover him. So AB, again, no disrespect to Antonio Brown. You could kind of shut down Antonio Brown. You could get physical with him at the line of scrimmage. You could double team him. You could put a safety over the top. You can't do that with Leveon Bell because he's a running back, and you don't really account for him catching the ball and being a receiver and having to double team him. So I think Leveon Bell is more valuable to the Steelers' offense, and defenses fear him more because you have to prepare for him more. You know what I'm saying? And again, going back to Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins makes $16 million a year. That's blasphemous compared to my client. So, we're not asking for much. The 5-year deal was great. We appreciate that. We appreciate you giving Leveon Bell's all he wanted was long-term security. So we appreciate you giving him the 5-year deal and the $70 million. Now again, $70 million, it's not nothing to, scoff at, but come on, my client's worth more than that. And I think anyone would argue. I don't think look past the position. Look past the position that Leveon Bell plays. Yeah, he's a running back. They're not valued highly. But then look at the production and look at the numbers. You pay for production. You pay for previous numbers. So if Leveon Bell's put up elite numbers in the past and continues to produce and is still only 26 years old, I don't get what the problem is. Again, you gave him 5 years, so you don't seem concerned. But we just want more money. That's what it comes down to. And the deadline's too late now because, you know, we already agreed to play on the franchise tag. But I think we can all agree that Leveon Bell is going to come out and have another elite season because he's going to be motivated. So my question for you guys is, if Leveon Bell comes out again and has an elite season, you know, 80 plus receptions, you know, 1,400 rushing yards, almost double-digit touchdowns, are you gonna raise that offer next summer? Are you gonna raise the contract extent? Are you gonna raise the price? Are you gonna maybe offer him $80 million or the $85 million that we're asking for? Because again, he'll be a year older, but not even close to 30. Still 3 years away from 30. So you offer him a 5-year deal at worst. You know, you get 3 years of production. So you get a minimum of 3 years of elite production. Those last 2 years could be hit or miss because, again, Leveon Bell is a different animal. We've never seen a player like Leveon Bell at the running back position. So Leveon Bell could be the first player to you know, have value after 30. The first running back to have value after the age of 30. I think he will be because of his ability to catch the ball in the backfield. He's not grounding and pounding it on every play and every carry and every possession. So I think you guys made a mistake because now Leveon Bell, my client, I talked to him. He's ticked. He loves the Steelers. He wants to retire a Steeler. But I talked to him and he felt disrespected by the offer. The money-wise. Yeah, he felt disrespected. So my client, he might not want to re-sign with you guys no matter what the offer is next summer. He might just be, the relationship might be over. It might not be repaired. I'm just telling you what my client told me. My job is to get the best deal for my client. I'm not a peacemaker. You know, I'm not someone that can mend the fences between two parties. That's not my job. I will talk to my client for you guys, no doubt about it. I'll try to get him back, you know, into good graces with you guys. But you guys gotta do better next summer. It's that simple. You gotta do better. Keep the length. 5 years is fine. Even if you want to go 4 years, we're cool with that too. But you gotta raise the price. You gotta raise the price, man. My client's better than that. My client's earned way more than $70 million based off his production. Again, don't look at the position. Look at the production. My clients earn more than that, $70 million. My client is worth more than $14 million a year. Devontae Freeman, who's the highest paid running back currently after Leveon Bell, he don't do for the Falcons what Leveon Bell does for the Steelers. Devontae Freeman, no slouch, great running back, but he doesn't change the game in a variety of different ways like my client Leveon Bell does. So, again, we're not settling for $14 million a year when my client can make $14.5 on a 1-year deal on the franchise tag. Come on, guys, you got to be a little smarter than that. So, again, that's it. The negotiations are done. But I'm telling you, if you want to have any chance of keeping my client after the season, if my client has another elite season, you better bring the Brinks trucks, man. You better bring the checkbook, and you better come correct with a legit offer from my client. All right, guys. Thank you. You can leave the interrogation room now. I'll go back later and talk to Leveon Bell, my client, and we'll figure something out. Trust me. Yeah, guys, you know, Leveon Bell, I get it, though. I get where the Steelers are coming from. Running backs, you know, they're not valued highly in today's game. I get it, even though they're great. They're so productive. And, you know, Leveon Bell has had the off-the-field concerns, a few injuries. But, again, when my client Leveon Bell is on the field, there's nobody that could do what he does at the running back position. So, I just don't think, you know, 5-year deal, $70 million. Again, you guys are probably like, yo, Leveon Bell's crazy for turning that down. No, he's not. Because Leveon Bell's betting on himself, and Leveon Bell knows what he can do. We've seen what Leveon Bell can do. So there's no reason for him not to bet on himself. Especially when he's making more on the franchise tag than he would have made in the first year of that deal. So again, eventually, he's just playing out a 1-year deal, $14.5 million, made more than he would have made if he signed the contract and agreed to that extension. So now we go into next summer with clean slate, best offer. Whoever offers us the most money is the team that we're signing with. That's me and my client agree with that because we've already given the Steelers numerous chances. We've given them too many chances. They can't come correct with the offer. Again, I just told them, though, next summer, they will have another chance to come correct with my client and offer him what he wants. Will Leveon Bell accept it? I don't know because, again, my client's ticked off. He's upset with the Steelers, but the Steelers will have a chance again to offer him the deal that he's looking for. Whether or not Leveon accepts it, that's up to him, but me and my client, next offseason, we're going for the biggest deal possible. We're done with that loyalty stuff. We're done with the team loyalty. Whichever team offers my client, Leveon Bell, the highest contract and the most money, where's the pen? That Leveon, sign right there. Case closed. Game over. You know what's up when the attorney's handling clients. We don't play that shit. We don't play that. We want the money, baby. We want the money. Alrighty. With that being said, you know what time it is now. It's time for What's the Case on the Base, with my players to add in fantasy baseball. Number 1, Matt Duffy from the Tampa Bay Rays. He's hitting .317, 16 doubles, 78 singles. He's getting a lot of hits, man. Matt Duffy, no way around. He's getting a lot of hits. And not to mention, 7 stolen bases. Damn, he's giving you the stolen bases along with the hitting and the high average. Can I get me some Matt Duffy? Shoot. In June, he hit .340. On fire, man. On fire in June, hitting .340. And he has eligibility at the middle infield positions and the corner infield positions. That's second base, third base, shortstop. Matt Duffy, man. He can play all over the infield. If you need somebody in a pinch, Matt Duffy's your guy. Plus, he hits near the top of the order for the Rays, so he's always getting on base, always scoring runs, and always getting an opportunity to bring in runs. Matt Duffy, nice player to have on your team. Number 2, Greg Bird from my Yankees. He's turning around, man. He's turning around. 32. What did I say? I'm sorry. Yeah, he's turned his season around because he was struggling at first when he first came back from the injury. A lot of people say, "Oh, Greg Bird, he's too injury prone. He's not the same." Nah. Since he came back, he's hitting .321, 3 homers, 12 RBIs. The week before the All-Star break, we're in the All-Star break right now, so last week, he was on fire. He's just on fire, just killing it. Like, nobody can get him out. He had a grand slam against the Orioles, a couple other home runs. He was just, he's killing it. And plus, the Yankees had that short porch in right field. And lefties, they love that short porch. And Greg Bird, he pulls the ball. Greg Bird's a lefty. He pulls the ball on 54% of his contact. That calls for a lot of home runs at Yankee Stadium. So the only problem is for Greg Bird, if there is a problem, is that he only hits 143 against left-handed pitching. So if you have another player on your team, another first baseman that hits better against left-handed pitching, okay, fine. But when you have Greg Bird and he's not facing a lefty, he's facing a right-handed pitcher, the potential for a lot of power is there. Greg Bird, nice player to have. He's getting hot. Number 3, Will Smith, relief pitcher for the Giants. Hunter Strickland, the normal closer for the Giants. He's been out, he punched a hole in the wall or something, knucklehead move. He's been out for a while. And now Will Smith, he's been the closer for the Giants. And the last 3 save opportunities for the Giants, Will Smith's converted them. He's only allowed 1 run since May 25th, and just 3 runs on the entire season. Will Smith is the closer for the San Francisco Giants. So if you need saves, take a look at Will Smith. He has 38 strikeouts in 28 innings. Striking out people, not giving up runs, and converting the save opportunities. Yeah. Will Smith. Nobody knows who that is. Everybody knows Will Smith from Bad Boys and Fresh Prince. But Will Smith from the Giants, he's a nice guy to have. Number 4, Carlos Gonzalez, Cargo from the Rockies. I just picked him up, actually. Matter of fact, I just picked him up on my team. He's killing it. 15 extra base hits. Since the beginning of June, he's hitting .297 with a .517 slugging percentage. During that, he's always been a streaky hitter. Cargo's always been a streaky hitter. He goes through some rough patches, but when he's hot, man, he can go off for home runs. Hence, his 40 home run season in 2015, just 3 years ago. Cargo hit 40 home runs. He's hitting cleanup often for the Rockies, and the last 5 games before the All-Star break for Cargo, he had an RBI in 5 straight games. So, Cargo, man, Carlos Gonzalez, again, be prepared for a slump here and there, but he is as streaky as they come, and when he's hot, no player you'd rather have on your team than Carlos Gonzalez. Number 5, Kyle Gibson, pitcher for the Twins. Back-to-back 9 strikeout starts, 3 earned runs or less in 9 of his last 10 starts, and a strikeout. He struck out at least 5 batters in 4 of his last 5 starts. He has a 3.42 ERA in the season, 9 strikeouts per 9 innings, so about a strikeout per inning, and he gets his first start after the All-Star break against the Kansas City Royals. In Kansas City. Worst hitting offense in the American League, the Royals. And after that, he gets another road start against the Toronto Blue Jays. And Kyle Gibson's numbers on the road this season, 2-2 with a 2.84 ERA. So he gets 2 road starts right after the All-Star break. Yeah, Kyle Gibson. Take a look at him. And number 6, Tyler Anderson, starting pitcher for the Rockies. Yeah, a lot of, it's crazy. I'm mentioning a Rockies pitcher. Nobody wants the Rockies pitchers because they play at Coors Field. But Tyler Anderson, he's had a quality start in 5 of his last 7 outings. 2.09 ERA on the season. And he's striking out over a batter per inning. Even more impressive is 4 of those starts. I said he had 4 of his last 5 starts were quality starts. 4 of those starts came at Coors Field. That's impressive, man. Now that's impressive. He has a 3.76 ERA on the season and 102 strikeouts in 107 innings. So, low ERA, a lot of strikeouts, and Coors Field doesn't affect him. If you're gonna pick a Rockies pitcher and want a Rockies pitcher on your team, Tyler Anderson is the Rockies pitcher for you. Okay, nice little episode of Sports in Order. Now you know what time it is. It's time for the sentencing. Hate to do it to you guys, but the jury, they've decided you guys are good. All right, bring that over here. The verdict is in. Okay. You all have been sentenced to 25 years to life of eating buffalo wings, drinking ice-cold beer, and enjoying sports. I'm the attorney at sports. This is my courtroom. This is Sports in Order. The jury's out. Peace.